in intricate braids and styles. Serafina wore a gown of the lightest blue with gold-embroidered trim and a golden necklace with a willow tree centerpiece, passed down from her mother and her mother before. Her soft golden brown hair was pulled up into a high bun to accentuate her pointed ears and cheekbones. But her breath caught as she stood frozen in the entryway. Why did she feel ill when everything about this day was beautiful and bright? Elkin placed a hand on her back and with gentle pressure urged her forward. It was so quiet their light elven footsteps echoed. Eyes followed Serafina and Elkin as they passed through the gap between the sea of elves under the looming white stone archways leading to the king at the end. Sunlight cascaded in from the colossal windows, ethereal as it reflected off the diamonds glittering in the king's golden crown. He was elegant in his fine green robes, but there was a harshness around his eyes. Rumors swirled about the once benevolent High King dabbling in the dark arts, seeking to grow more powerful, to have magic of his own. At the end of the aisle, this blonde king waited, his eyes fixed on the sleeping bundle in Serafina's arms. The white throne he sat on had a back so high the king could stand and it would take 3 of him to reach the peak. With a grey staff in hand matching his robe, the light mage Vestin stood to the king's right. His pale, straight hair was half tied up in ceremonial braids woven between a crown of silver branches. With a warm smile, he descended the 5 steps and met the mother and father at the altar.
Many have gathered here today for the testing and naming of this child. What shall she be known by from this day forth?
Elkin cleared his throat.
She is to be known as Leala Lightbringer.
Serafina held her child closer, patting the baby's back gently. She didn't want to part with her for the testing, but she would have to. All mothers did. The mage dipped his head. His wrist clinked from the silver bracelets as he touched the grey stone altar before him.
Please place the infant Leala Lightbringer here.
Serafina's eyes met the king's, his chin raised slightly, impatiently. She set the swaddled baby down gently, leaving a hand against her chest, careful to make sure she wouldn't fall. The mage bobbed his head.
This will be quick, and do not fret. The child will not be harmed. I will say a few words and we'll wait for a sign. If nothing happens, the child does not have magic.
Serafina knew this. She'd seen it hundreds of times herself. No child she witnessed possessed magic. No sign ever came. Mage Vestin, one of the last elves born with magic to exist in Adelon, touched the crown of Leala's head with his fingers. With but a few chanted words, an onyx swirl of cloud amassed around the tip of the staff. It soon traveled like a serpent, winding and moving around the 4 of them until it circled only Leala. Flower buds appeared above the dark mist around her. The lilies blossomed into such a deep purple they nearly looked black. Serafina's chest ached. The birthmark, and now this dark display of magic. What did this mean? What would happen now? What did they do with magical children? Her eyes set on Leala's petite, plump face, so sweet and lovely. Serafina's heart swelled with love, but a part of her worried. How could there be a darkness in something so delicate and beautiful? Mage Vestin jerked his hand away as if he'd been struck and turned to the king, mouth gaping. The High King rose, with greed in his eyes.
She has magic.
He waved a hand to a female elf with her hands on a small boy's shoulders. His dark brown hair curled around his angelic face, and his big green eyes searched the crowd nervously. This was the king's wife and child. Serafina recognized them as they drew closer.
See that it is done,
the king boomed. Panic rose in Serafina, looking from the king to the mage. See that what is done?
As the first to be born with power in over 4 centuries, this child will marry my son when she is of age. They are to be betrothed, bound by magic for now.
The hardness in his eyes showed no sign of negotiation.
She will be a great weapon for our people in the future.
A weapon? She was but a baby, barely even a week old, and he was calling her a weapon. Seraphina should be happy.